Okay, here's another League of Legends post-game commentary coming away, this time with Udyr and jungle. As you can see, my voice still isn't better, but I'm hoping that will change in the next couple days when I start uploading other things. So, as for our matchups, we have Kennen top against Tom Kench. I'm Udyr in the jungle against Nautilus. We have Jinx partner with Janna bot against Quinn and Lulu, and we have Kindred mid against Annie. So I will put out the disclaimer, this is the game I recorded on patch day, so you'll see what I mean later on. But this was my first exposure to Kindred. And since I went jungle, they decided to go solo lane. Luckily we do have a top laner that's AP to still supplement the team's weakness. And luckily Kennen's pretty decent in his own right. I'll explain more about that matchup as we go. But for now, how Udyr works. Your passive is Monkey's Agility. Whenever you change stances, in case you didn't notice, Udyr doesn't have an ult, he just has 4 spells that change the way he auto-attacks. When you switch between those stances, you get a surge of attack speed and movement speed. Persists for a few seconds, stacks up to 3 times, helps clear the jungle immensely. So right here you can see that they invaded the blue buff. That is going to set me back, but I will make them pay, don't worry. After all, I have Kindred on my team. The only way it'd be more fitting is if I had Callista too, but can't always get what you want, right? Q is Tiger Stance. This is your AD route. Gives you additional damage and attack speed, I think. You also get a damage over time debuff, or whatever you want to think about it. But it's a good way to pick off a fleeing enemy. Sometimes they'll run away before they even know they're dead. W is Turtle Stance. It's a shield type move. Passive effect is that it gives you some lifesteal. Active effect is that shield scales off AP, sadly. Kinda wish it would scale off health, but I don't know. Udyr's one of those old characters who could use a little bit more touching up. E is Bear Stance. It's the stun move. It gives you increased movement speed while using it. Next auto attack will stun the target. You'll see how I get set back right here. So you'll stun the target. I don't remember what determines how often you can stun them, but there is a window where you cannot stun them and you have to wait for that to expire. So what's a bit disappointing here is somehow Annie gets past Kindred, and you can kind of see what's going to happen. I probably should have tried to escape to the bot, but I was afraid he was going to use his dredge line. In the end, he didn't. He might not have even had it. It's just disappointing that Kindred let Annie walk right past her. So I don't have enough money for any items. That means I'm just going to play passively for a little while. Not ideal on Udyr, but not much you can do when, well, you see how counter jungling works. It's a team effort. And if someone drops the slack, someone gets hung. Finally, your R move is Phoenix Stance. This will cause waves of fire to generate around Udyr, damaging everyone around him. Every third auto attack will launch out a stream of flames. That will... Yeah, I'm letting Kindred have that, even though I should have been a jerk and took it. Takes her a while to take, sadly. Every third attack is that stream of flames, and I prefer Phoenix over Tiger for jungling. Phoenix makes it much easier and faster to clear. Plus, it doesn't face the fall-off problem that the Tiger Stance does. I can take that pretty easily because of the stun on Bear Stance. You can see that I can take its health down really, really fast. And unfortunately, you can see that the Annie is just way ahead of Kindred in overall movements. So I can use this opportunity to go back and complete a jungle item. I can get boots and then try to make something happen on the map. So as for kill opportunity, they're like the best lane for me in actuality is the top lane. I have played Kennen into Kench before. It wasn't really worth uploading because if he has teleport, you're going to be hell-bent trying to keep him out of lane. If he teleports to the tower, that's a 4-minute cooldown. He can use his ult, that's a 2-minute cooldown to get back into lane. And even if you force him out, like, the thing is, where's the achievement in that? He's just gonna be back in 5 seconds, topped off in health, and all your effort was for waste. The thing is, Kench himself is fairly immobile, and since Kennen does have CC at his disposal, with the Bear Stance and then the, I forgot what Kennen's passive is called. Eye of the Storm, maybe? I didn't get that one chicken. Oh well. So with the Kennen passive and my Bear Stance, it's very easy to lock down Kench. Even though he's extremely hard to kill just due to the way his E works, we do have the tools to make him extremely miserable. So right there I want to drop down the pink ward and clear out this one that I couldn't get earlier. In case you're wondering, I do not recommend taking Kindred mid. Like right here, I have to escort her to the chicken camp so that she can get this. That way she gets her passive stack and can actually scale into late game. But the reason why I don't recommend it, in case you're wondering, is she has 500 attack range. To put into context, Annie has 600. And that's not even factoring the fireball and everything else. So while she's a very short-range character, she's in a lane where people very commonly have the tools to bully her. And in most circumstances it would not work. It's just, when it does pop up, it tends to fall into the jungler's lap for resolving. So for this game I did want to go for the Devourer. I didn't have enough gold to get the second dagger, but I strongly suspected Nautilus would be at the red buff, and you'll see how this pays off. To put things into context, Udyr is a really, really good duelist. Nautilus, not so much, and this is your other clue that he's nearby. So I can take this fairly quickly and safely. And if you look at his health, this was not a wise choice on his part. So I'm going to keep the red buff on one side of him. Janna shows up to make this even easier, but I actually had him dead to rights. So he goes down, I get the red buff, Janna gets the assist, and that sets him back. Right here I wanted to duck into this brush to see if he pink warded it. He did not. I suspected he dropped the one in the river, and since I cleared that out, he would totally be justified trying to ward there. Yep, I just don't know what he was thinking there.
vigilant eyes.
So right there, they were probably afraid I was going to solo the dragon. In reality, it did warn us about Annie's upcoming gank, and as a result, the bot lane potentially lives a little bit longer than they would have had I not done anything. See, it pays off to control the crab.
We must rejoice.
But now I have the finished Devourer, now I just have to get it sated.
Wind and fire.
The good news is, with the damage on it, it becomes even easier to clear the jungle. And as it becomes faster and easier, you're healthier, and you can start ganking lanes more often.
Who would stand against us?
So right here I'm anticipating the gank on Kindred. I'm trying to move into position to counter, but we're at a disadvantage all things considered just because I don't consider Kindred to be as valuable as Annie in a duel situation. And since Nautilus never materialized, lo and behold, there he is. So he ulted really early for some reason, and he missed his dredge line. I flashed here because I wanted to be devoured by Kench. I get his flash, and Kennen makes the move, and here's what I mean by there's a lot of potential here between the two of us. I was kind of hoping Nautilus would chase me a bit more so Kennen could poke him down, but we still pick him up. And basically that launches me way, way ahead of where I should be right around now. I can't exactly see my gold number here, but I should be, well, I should have one of the components of the Trinity Force in my pocket now. And there's no way in hell I'm going to go over to Annie with this low health. That's just begging for trouble.
Wind and fire.
The cloth armor is going to eventually become a dead man's plate, in case you're wondering. It's just I'm not going to actually get that for a long time yet. Nice thing about getting the cloth armor now, though, is that the 10 armor does help you in the jungle, so like the 300 gold does not go to waste.
One spirit must fly.
This may sound crazy, but once upon a time there were junglers who actually would jungle with a cloth armor and 5 pots. How times have changed.
Crush any barrier.
So right there I was hoping we might have been able to catch Lulu. I checked the brush to make sure that wasn't a pink ward. And I probably should have just stayed with Jinx.
Our journey continues.
Unfortunately, the hard part with Quinn is her vault.
The spirits observe.
It's really good at creating distance like that.
The ancients.
That's why I'd say Quinn is actually a decent pick into Skarner, Udyr, and a couple others that have to run up to you. Basically any of the juggernauts.
Our spirits.
Same reason it's as Vayne's Condemn, obviously.
Our journey.
So realistically there isn't really much we can do to defend this. Considering 3 of them are ranged, I have Kench in the wings. At this point we should have just been setting our goal on not dying. And you can see how this works out.
Life speaks through us.
Scuttle Crab's important to take because it's 2 stacks on the Devourer. You can see right now it's getting a little bit harder to kill. I need to get the phage component to make it a little bit easier for me to kill. Right here's payback on Annie. And they almost get me here, but I squeak by with just a little bit of health. And in the end, we even got the tower.
An enemy has been slain. Destroyed a turret.
It's always annoying how they try to live with next to no health, don't you think? As for this, they can take it pretty quickly with Kindred. The only drawback, of course, is that I don't get the 5 stacks for being there. Would have been nice to speed up the Devourer, but oh well, there are other ways.
Our journey continues. Who would stand against us?
So we're getting close to the halfway point. And sadly, there hasn't been a lot of action yet. Relatively speaking, this is going to be a low-kill game. But there will be a few team fights, don't worry. So right there could have turned into an ugly situation, but I managed to get out.
Crush any barrier.
And I just need to keep farming, keep generating stacks, keep generating gold. When I get to the Trinity, my kill rush will be a lot higher. But for now, the opportunities for ganks just really aren't presenting themselves.
We are filled with might.
So you can see all 5 are down bot. Kindred is the only survivor. But the good news is, Kennen was pushing the top lane. We did force the teleport out of Kench. That gives us an opportunity to make up for some lost ground in a little bit. Sadly, even if I had been bot, I don't think I would have had any impact. I'd just been another casualty if I couldn't have escaped with Kindred.
Who would stand against us?
So Kindred got the red.
Our
That does mean I don't get the stack, sadly. And right here I can't tell if there's going to be a skirmish or not, so I don't know whether to stay or go.
This place is at peace. Necessary sacrifice.
So So right around now is when it would be ideal to have your devourer become sated. You can see just how close I am to that goal.
Place peace.
And that red buff on Kindred has to be so freaking annoying.
Spirit must fly free.
So while I took a lot of damage there, the important thing is that the enemy used up pretty much all their burst, and we still had the Janna Monsoon in their backs. So once that tower went down, we were able to go ahead and pick up Annie. You notice there's no Kench here. Pick up Nautilus as well.
Rampage.
And all things considered, we come out ahead on that trade, and this does make up for the 2 kills we lost earlier on. Sadly, there's just no blue buff to steal on my way out.
And back to you, shopkeeper.
Good news, however, is that I do have enough to finish my Trinity Force, so I'm that much more scarier in a duel. I go for Boots of Swiftness because I don't know how long it's going to take my Dead Man's Plate to finish. Basically, with Udyr, you need all the help you can get in trying to close the distance on people.
Heart of flame.
Although, to be honest, Merc Treads would also be a good pickup this game. Due to the Annie stun, the Tom Kench stun, I don't know if it impacts his Devourer or not. Nautilus's root, the stun from his his ult. There actually was enough CC to justify the Merc Treads. It's just, I was more concerned about being able to close the gap, especially with Quinn being able to generate distance as well as Lulu's polymorph. And right here I think is when I make a bad move because I overestimate my power.
Your spirits have heard.
So I think that's kind of low to crap how he still gets to pull himself to safety after getting stunned. But I was kind of hoping if everyone chipped in on this we could take it down quickly enough. Instead they don't bother. And even after they burned everything on me, Kennen waits until now to jump in. We definitely could have turned it around had he come a little bit sooner, but it's just a mess. Now that I think about it, I don't know why I've seen so much AD carry Quinn these days.
Right back with more pain and death after these messages.
It just eludes me. Anyway, that's their dragon. Losing one isn't the end of the world. We just need to make sure we don't have too many more fights like that. And sadly, dying there does mean I'm set back from my plate a little bit more. Of course, once I get that, I become a speed machine. You'll see what I mean when we get there.
This place is at peace. We are filled with might.
But you can see how fast this crab dies now.
Return to nature. Right of the ancients.
And sadly, if not for the Lulu there, I think we definitely could have gotten Annie.
Run.
Lulu had to go and ruin a good thing, didn't she?
Necessary sacrifice.
But right here, you'll see how well Ken and I can cut through the catfish frog monster.
Overwhelming.
An enemy has been slain.
The spirits observe. deserve.
That's the kind of thing I missed when I played that matchup, because my jungler was a moron. As for this, you can see my arrival does deter Nautilus, and if Kindred were, well, she doesn't have her ult, so
Crush
I guess there really isn't much reason for her to linger. But if she did have the ult, she'd have no excuse for running away. And the rocket answers empty. But with the Giant's Belt, Chain Vest, and my new Trinket, I'm a lot stronger than I used to be and definitely harder to kill. It's just a tad regrettable it took me this long to upgrade the Trinket. So the fight is breaking out, the hero has arrived, and it's showtime. And the one I want more than anything is Annie. You can see, sadly, she gets away. It does cost her a couple teammates. And I didn't even realize that was Kindred's mark, otherwise I probably should have left it for her. But oh well. We at least confirmed she doesn't have any lines for allies who take her marks.
Your turret has been destroyed.
Who would stand against us? The hearth fire calls. Our spirits have merged.
Okay, so we're rounding the 3/4 point soon. Trying to see what level I am, but the text is just way too small.
Life speaks through us.
Oh well. So I didn't have enough to get the Dead Man's Plate on that back. Still, it's no excuse to stop farming while I wait for people to come out of base. One thing to keep in mind is that since I'm so much faster than your normal player character, I can actually get out and take a camp by the time they actually get into normal position. And I guess if I took Tiger Stance, I should probably use it now and then, shouldn't I? So we got the Scuttle Crab. Sadly, Annie, I think she has Moby Boots based on how fast she can run away from me. I'm not totally sold on the whole Moby Boots mid-Annie thing, but some people seem to like it.
Our journey.
And right here we have a chance to catch Kench. Bad news is his flash was up, but we can easily force that out of him. It only costs us a Smite charge and the Shirelias, both of which will be up in about a minute.
Crush.
Plus I still have that one charge in reserve, so it's not like I'll truly lose anything. Now I could take this pretty safely even without my team. It's just by being here they make us a lot faster. I'd probably have to exploit Tiger Stance a bit more in order to clear that. But here's the next fight. So right here I pull Kench away,
An enemy has been
Nautilus down, that's 4, that's 2, 3, 4, and right here I pinged that Kench is back here. And in case you're wondering, I stopped attacking him right now. So yes, I do voluntarily sacrifice my life to give Jinx the Penta, but I think it was worth it. Probably could have lived if I started hitting him, but there was a chance I could have accidentally taken that from her. So now that I have the Dead Man's Plate, I need MR. And I was thinking Spirit Visage because I wanted the CDR, truth be told. Even though Banshee's Veil would still be pretty good. All things considered, the Banshee Veil would probably be better if not for just that one CDR aspect.
Rejoin me,
That's the one thing that does suck about this build. Then again, both Banshee would actually be better, I think. I was thinking about color scheme. The Spirit Visage is a green item, if I remember. While from here, the Boots of Swiftness seem like a green item. We could have each one be a different color. Banshee being more white, if I remember. Wonder if I could come up with some sort of rainbow Udyr build.
Our spirits have merged.
So right here we're going to have a showdown at the Baron Pit, and you're going to get a reminder that this is patch day. So sadly I never caught up to Lulu to get the assist, but Nautilus and Kench were not so lucky. And with all three of them out of the picture, it's Baron time. Kindred gets up to get it, which is good news because as soon as this thing goes down... Wait for it. So do I. So, 2 minutes later, here we are. So I have enough for the cowl. I went ahead and got the Kindle gem for the health and CDR. And I don't think I make another pack before the video ends, so... Actually, yes I do. But the one thing that does suck is I missed out on pretty much the entire Baron buff since it's going to expire right now. But the good news about getting this dragon is number 3 is going to make it even easier for me to engage, since I need all the movement speed I can get, and this gives me what I so badly need. So right here I don't want to push in without reinforcements. I'm kind of waiting for them to push that wave, and then I can immediately kill it so they get no reprieve. But I want to keep that wall between me and them because that's my only protection from the dredge line. But once Kindred arrives, we can go ahead and do a number on Nautilus. And he decides to be a hero. And I have to peace out. But the good news is, while all that was going on, Jinx and Janna made short work on the top lane turret, and the little diversion puts us ahead. As for poor Kennen, he is dead to rights. There's just no way out for him. Through the use of his passive in the Zonia's Hourglass, he stays alive a lot longer than he should have. And I'm not really sure it was worth all the cooldowns, but that's up for debate. We're past the 35-minute mark, so the death timers are starting to get long enough to where These Zonias should be back up by the time he's back up. And right here I'm just trying to steal everything from Nautilus that I can to keep him as gold-starved as possible. I don't know how likely it is he'll be able to leave base with an inhibitor down, but if he does, I want to make sure he gets nothing for his trouble. So right here I will look at the Spirit Visage. I get the cloth armor because I don't know what I'm going to get last just yet, but I need more armor. And I decided to get an Elixir of Rune to help me take towers. In case you're wondering, no, the Trinity Force is not enough. I want an Elixir to help me do even more. Plus the whole second dragon buff. Guess I'm kind of greedy like that. So right here I stun it just so she can take it at a reasonable pace. Otherwise she would have been there for an hour. And I was willing to ward that, but Kennen man-moded it and face-checked. Relatively speaking, he should have been safe because it's the top lane inhibitor that's down. It means that the enemy presence should be more localized over there. But here comes the final push. 1 minute remaining in game. And he plays hero to save Kench, which I make an answer for. We pick up Nautilus. You can see that I can't get away from the lag now. So with all my armor, the towers themselves aren't really that scary. Here I get a little bit greedy needlessly, but I just say screw it, I want the win. After all, we got Quinn, that's good enough. So Tiger stands for the attack speed as well as get my passive going, and then I take out the Nexus. So I hope you enjoyed the hero fight. Thanks for watching.